Shanti Shanti. As long as we feel that I have an ego and I have to take decision and I am working on decision, as long as we have not become a gunatita, where we see that the gunas are functioning in Prakriti and I am not doing anything at all, till that time comes, as long as I think that I have something to do, I have to do it, I have to apply my Viveka Buddhi and choose the Shreyas in preference to the prayers. So he says, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo namedhayana bahuna shrutena yamevaisha vrinute tena labhya tasyaisha atma vivrinute tanum Swami. One who, as in marriage, we choose a partner in preference to all others, he is taking that kind of a illustration almost. And we put our Varanamala, our garland on one. Like that, in this world, in preference to everything worldly, we have to put our Varanamala on this truth, on this supreme truth, on the Atma. Then only the Atma will reveal its own truth. Swam tanum vivrinute. The next verse says, Nayamatma balahinena labhyo. Nayamatma balahinena labhyo. न च प्रमादात् तपसो वाप्यलिङ्गात् एतैरुपायैर्यतते अस्तु विद्वान् तस्यैषात्मा विशते ब्रह्मधाम. He says, Na ayamatma balahinena labhyaha. It cannot be attained by the weaklings. Now this bala, it is not there talking about our physical strength or external strength of manpower, money or any other weapons or anything like that. Here the bala means the internal strength, the inner strength. It means the virya that comes from within. In Kenopanishad it is said, Atmana vindate viryam. Atmana vindate viryam. That real virya, it comes from within. When we are connected to within, that means when we are not slave to the objective situation, not slave to the world, to the slave to the worldly indulgences, then only we will find inner strength. That is how so many vratas, so many disciplines are given. By performing any discipline, what are we doing? We are holding us, we are withdrawing from sensory indulgence. So we are gaining in inner strength. We are becoming more and more self-seated through disciplines. So here the bala means the inner strength. He says that those who do not have that inner strength, those who are always slave to situations, slave to the worldly situation, worldly objects, sense indulgences and all, this Atma cannot be had by them. Na ayam Atma balahinena labhyaha. Earlier he said, pravachanena na labhya, medhaya na labhya, bahuna shrutena na labhya. These are all cannot be attained by just the analysis of the Shastras, by various words and analysis of words, or by talents of various kinds, by power of buddhi and all. It cannot be attained. Here he said, not even by those who do not have the inner strength. The more we are slave to the world, say even we take to lie, we take to asatya, as earlier we have discussed. To become a satyasandha, to always remain adhering to the truth, remaining anchored in the truth, it needs lot of inner strength. In some cases we may lose our external property, we may lose our various possessions and the name and fame we have also, if we have to keep to our internal anchor, if we have to keep to truth. But those who have the inner strength, they will have the unswerving faith and strength in their own within, with which they can face any situation in the world, foregoing anything. Their wealth may go, their service may, their profession they may lose everything, but they will not budge an inch from their satyasandhata, from their adherence to truth. That is through their inner strength. So, na ayamatma balahinena labhyaha, na cha pramadat. This pramada generally means inattention. It generally means inattention. Now, in spirituality, as I just now discussed, that why are we missing the truth? We are missing the revealer because our focus is always on the limited object or the vritti which is being revealed. It is only because of inattention that we are missing the revealer. If we are aware of that consciousness, that whatever we are seeing, actually the external world we may be perceiving, but truly what we are perceiving is whatever is appearing in our mind. The external world is appearing as it is because of our 5 indriyas. Suppose we had 7 indriyas or we had 3 indriyas, the whole world we are seeing would have been different. Or we have some peculiar indriyas like, say, tremendous microscopic vision, then also the whole world will change. The way they are appearing as fragmented, it will not be like that. It will all be a smear of the elementary elements and particles and all. So, always we are missing this revealer, which is the revealer of the vritti. As the world is appearing, it is finally revealed, our mental impressions are revealed by the consciousness. That consciousness we are missing. That is what is said in Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amritatvam Hi Vindate. When we understand this Pratibodha, this Atma of all the vrittis, all the buddhi vrittis, Atma of vrittis means on which the vrittis are manifest. The vrittis are all forms in the consciousness. So until we understand that consciousness, when I say, you will think that the consciousness is something as object. It is not so. It can only be known as the amness coming out of us. So everything else is appearing in that amness. So we are missing that real factor, the revealer. We are everywhere, we are missing. And our focus is on the multifarious objects which are all revealed, which are all appearing on that revealer. It is only because of inattention. So in ashrams you will find that all the sadhanas, they are based on attention. Everywhere in spiritual abodes you will find a lot of emphasis is given on attention. Because it is our inattention that does not allow us to progress in our sadhana. So even in serving food, in doing japa, in maintaining the ashram, in maintaining the shrine, everywhere we find inattention. Where there is inattention, there won't be progress at all. Even a little bit, a small job for a seeker, no job is inferior or superior. Whatever job is given, if he does it with full attention, he doesn't need to do anything else. It is enough if he does it. But the seekers generally do not understand. They always compare between jobs. He has been given a better job. I have not been given that job. He is working with Swamiji, and I am working only I am getting rotten in the Annakshetra or in the garden. This is always going on everywhere. It won't work. A real seeker, even if he is asked to work in the field, say planing the level of the earth, he will do it so attentively, so well that his mind will become fulfilled. His mind will become Purne Manasi Sampurnam Jagat Sarvam Sudhadravahi. But people don't understand. So this pramada is extremely important, to remove the pramada. He has mentioned clearly, nacha pramadat. If you have pramada, if you are inattentive, Atma is not for you, you will miss it. Tapaso vapya lingat. This again has two interpretations. Linga generally means insignia, symbol. We say Shiva Linga. Shiva means actually the auspiciousness. Shiva means the Atma only, nothing else. The all-pervading consciousness is represented by Shiva. But how to say that infinite, imperceptible consciousness? So we put a linga, we put a stone there and say that this is the Shiva Linga. Or we put a murti, that is also a linga, which symbolizes the truth. So, the tapas without any proper insignia is the meaning here. Shankaracharya has interpreted it as that austerities without taking up sannyasa. Now, that is one aspect of it, one truth. Or we can interpret it as alingat means improper tapas. Now, improper tapas, why? We are trying to know, we are trying to know the truth. So, where will the truth be known? It is in our buddhi, in our mind. So, suppose we do some external tapas of fasting or undergoing some hardship of the body, etc. Well, they will help us in overcoming the slavery to the world. That is okay. As a practice, that is okay. But if we think that the knowledge will come out of that practice, it is never going to happen. For knowledge, we have to remove the ajnana, the ignorance which is embedded in our mind and intelligence. That has to be treated. Without applying a treatment to that, we cannot have knowledge at all. Just by doing the japa and counting the number of that, you cannot expect to have the knowledge. You cannot. So, our tapas has to be proper. Shankaracharya says that mantra does not mean the shabda of the mantra. Mantra is mananat trayate iti mantra. When we are doing the japa, our emphasis will have to be on the meaning of the mantra. If it is the Shiva mantra, what is the meaning of Shiva? That should be in our mind, and there should be enough of emotional association with that. Then the japa will become successful. So, the tapas will have to be a proper tapas to attain what we want to attain. In this particular case, for attaining the knowledge, it has to be a jnana tapas. That is the moment we find that our mind is slipping from knowledge, our mind is becoming prey to ragadvesha, to ego, to ahankara. That moment it happens, we have to catch hold of the mind and apply the correction there. There lies the apramada. Because of pramada, we are missing these slipping of the mind and intelligence. Suppose the mind is hosting some ragadvesha. The moment the mind is hosting some ragadvesha, immediately our focus should be on that. We should be able to catch hold of that oh, my mind is slipping. So that is the jnana tapas, that in no way, never we should hold on to any possessiveness or any too much of clinging to the body or clinging to any of my items or anything of that sort. There we are slipping from jnana. So in jnana sadhana, jnana tapas, always the buddhi and the watchfulness should be so alert that the moment the mind or the intelligence slips from the goal, we should be able to identify and we should be able to apply the correction. That is the tapasovapya alingat. That is, it cannot be had by alingat tapasaha. It cannot be had by tapas, which is improper. It cannot be had by those who do not have inner strength. It cannot be had by inattention. It cannot be had by improper tapas. Now, Shankaracharya said that the proper tapas is taking up sannyasa. That is also true in various sense, because sannyasa means what? Sannyasa means a wholesome pursuit. And although the sannyasa ultimately is an inner attainment, we have discussed it earlier also, as in Bhagavad Gita it is clearly discussed that sannyasa is an inner attainment of renunciation. Although it is so, the outer change of attire or insignia, that is also important because of various reasons. If we are interacting in the society, that to make our sadhana wholesome, we need some change of attire, the change of place, change of habitat, everything is necessary. And that, suppose we are wearing the gerua, suppose my mind slips from the truth anyway, this color of that I am a sannyasin, I have this robe, that should remind me that I am slipping. That should be a reminder to us also. It may be gerua, it might be white also. Even if it is white, suppose some are given to white. But that white dress one has taken out of a certain, through a ceremony or through some vrata or something, that he has been given brahmacharya. So it will always work in his mind that I am a brahmachari, I am a brahmachari, I am a brahmachari. So it is not only in the functional level that when I am losing the depth of it, I am behaving in a light manner, I am not behaving in a brahmachari manner. It is not just that is primary only. Later on, it has to be an inner observation when the mind thinks a little different from what a brahmacharyan should do, immediately we should be able to catch hold of the mind and apply the correction there. So the sadhana, initially it might be, the linga will remind us of our wholesomeness in the sadhana when we are behaving outside, but later on or parallelly, it is inner also, that it should remind us, that linga will remind us wherever we are slipping from our proper mentality, thoughts or so. Etair upayair yatate yastu vidvan. A knowledgeable person who, with lot of care and perseverance, yatate yastu vidvan, etaihi upayaihi, by these methods, tasya esha atma brahmadhama vishate. His atma attains the brahmadhama, enters the brahmadhama. See, again they are using an allegorical language, that brahmadhama is the abode of Brahman. Actually, as I said, it is the refuge. And this refuge is what we are taking to. We are taking to that refuge. But when we reach it, we become that. After reaching the brahmadhama, we become the Brahman. So Vishate Brahmadhama means he gets merged with the Brahman, ultimate refuge. Tasya esha atma, that means his atma. That means normally we are thinking our atma is jiva, which is limited by my body, mind, personality. My atma is different from others' atma. There are multiple atmas, and this is the atma which is undergoing a change. Actually, the atma never undergoes any change. What undergoes changes are the mind, intelligence and other parts of the being. And when they are purified, we understand that my atma is not limited, not associated with the body, mind, personality at all. The real identity is universal, one and transcendental. That is what is meant by atma vishate brahmadhama. Earlier, you should not forget, earlier in Mundakopanishad we have used the Dhanurgrihitva Upanishadam Mahastram. There it was, the atma was the arrow. Pranavo dhanuhu sharohi atma brahmatal lakshya muchyate. The dhanush is the Om there. And Pranava Om means it represents Brahma Vidya also, I said. And sharohi atma, that arrow is the atma. And what is the target? Brahmatal lakshya muchyate. Apramattena vedhavyam sharavat tanmayo bhavet. See, there also apramattena vedhavyam. You have to hit it without any delusion, without any inattention. How much of attentive you have to be even when you are shooting an arrow. There also how much of attention is necessary, that you have to see only the bullseye and nothing else. And in this case, where you have to hit something which is not visible, not perceptible to your indriyas at all, can you imagine the attention necessary? It is not something visible or perceptible where you can say, here I am attending there. No, it is something imperceptible. It has to be attained by the bodhi, by our prajna. So how much of attention? There also they said, apramattena vedhavyam. You have to get rid of your pramada, inattention. Here also they are saying the same thing. In Kathopanishad, he said, Yada panchavatishtante jnanani manasasaha buddhischana vicheshtate tamahu paramam gatim. He said that is the supreme state when all the five sense organs along with the mind are still. He didn't say that they were sleeping. They were awake. Normally in Sushupti also, they are not functioning, but they are sleeping, so they will not be able to know anything. Now here he is saying all the five sense organs along with the mind, they are awake, but they are still. Mind still means it is not having any vritti at all. All the vrittis have subsided, dissolved. Buddhischana vicheshtate. That means that even the effortfulness of the intelligence will not be there. That we analyze that, oh, this is not the Atma, this is the Atma, I am seeing this is different from me. All these things, analysis going on of the buddhi, that is it the self, is it not the self, have I realized the self? These are all effort of the buddhi. Nothing will be there. Buddhischana vicheshtate. No cheshta, no effort from the buddhi. Tamahu paramam gatim. then what will happen? Because the consciousness is not revealing any vritti, even the buddhi vritti also is not there, not revealing any vritti. So the consciousness is left in its free, in its pristine state. So it reveals itself. That is how it happens. That is why they are saying, Tamahu Paramam Gatim. Saying that in the next verse in Kathopanishad they say, Tam yogamiti manyante sthiramindriya dharanam apramattastada bhavati yogohi prabhavapyayavu. He says that Tam yogamiti manyante, that is called the yoga, because there is no separation of the small I from the real I, real identity. There is no separation of Jnana and Jnana or the process of knowledge, nothing like that. It is the Advaya Bhumi, where everything, we call it Triputi Nasha. The knower, known and the knowing process, they have all got fused. The subject-object division is not there, it has got fused. That is the yoga, where the subject-object division also is not there. Tam yogamiti manyante sthiram indriya dharanam. Here indriya you can consider mind, buddhi, they are also indriyas, that all of them are still. Apramattastada bhavati. The yogi becomes apramatta, then only we become apramatta, because the attention, that is called the state of attention, because we come to know what is this revealer. The revealer reveals itself, that is the state of attention, that is the ultimate attention. Apramattastada bhavati. Otherwise we are always pramatta, everywhere we are having the pramada. The pramada goes only when we are able to realize the revealer. So, in Bhagavad Gita also it is said, Yatha Deepa Nivatastho Nengate Sopama Smrita. That there they have given the illustration of a lamp where there is no wind. The flame is there, but it is not oscillating because there is no wind at all, no breeze. Air is there naturally. Now it is non-moving, but is not the radiation still coming from the flame? A silent radiation spreading from the flame. Like that, when all the indriyas, the mind, the buddhi, everything is still, there is no oscillation at all. That silent radiation of the soul can be felt. Not only can be felt, we get filled with that. That is the only thing remaining. Purne manasi sampurnam. That is the Purnata, that radiation fills everything, everywhere. And that is the state of attention. Apramattastada bhavati. This was said in the Pranabodhanusharohi Atma. There he said that the Laksha is the Brahman and the arrow is the Atma, and it gets fused into the Laksha. Like that, here also, Atma Brahmadhama Vishate. Similarly, we should not forget in the previous chapter the examples of the two birds. Another illustration. What is that? The two birds, they are not different. The higher bird is the real identity of the bird. There also, the Lakshya is that higher bird. And when this lower bird finally taking its mind away from the Ragadvesha and from the object where it was completely slave to the objects around, the fruits and the leaves around, from that it merges into the state of the upper bird, it goes up and finally the two birds merge into each other. That is the state of yoga, as I said just now. That is the Atma Vishate Brahmadhama. There the higher bird represents the Brahmadhama, our real being, our real identity. So they get fused in that identity. All these illustrations we use so that it helps us to visualize and finally activate in our sadhana. So he said, Etair upayair yatate yastu vidvan. So what are the upayas? What are the methods by which one will attain? You apply the negative of whatever, by whatever it cannot be attained. Suppose here he said, I am Atma balahina nalabhyaha. So one who does not have the inner strength, he is not able to attain. So upaya is to develop the inner strength. And where lies the inner strength? Atmana vindate viryam. That means we get more and more anchored. We have to go inward more and more and always remain connected with that. Although pralobhana will be there, all kinds of attractions, repulsions will be there, we will face all of them without losing our anchor, without losing our anchor in our soul.